this is going to be a quick tutorial here on how to warp in Ableton. Let's delete that and let's go get a new one. So these are great because they're really cool, but they don't come with a BPM and they're not going to be warped to whatever time you're working in. So, let's just take something closer to what most people are working at. Right, so that's what you're going to get in your project file. So if you open up the clip side of things here, which you can do with Shift Tab, hold Shift, hit Tab, then come over to the sample here. If you can't see that, this little waveform gotta hit normally, then you can hit Warp, and all of these you got to play with because they're all very different. Complex Pro is going to give you the most clean recreation of the original sound, so it's going to try to make it sound exactly like it did before you warped it. And all the way, so Complex is the lesser version. It has a slightly different sound, a little less control over it. Repitch is trying to recreate actually like a vinyl record. So if it's on Repitch, when you change the BPM, that's where you're going to hear a lot of the warping and kind of pitch, tone bending and stuff you can get as if it was an actual record player. Texture. So the way these three are set up are more, I would say, intended for like sound design warping. Obviously, you could use anything. But these are going to kind of, rip apart and kind of redefine the sound that you're working with. So they're kind of self-explanatory. Beats is a little bit more for percussive type sounds, and then tones and textures are going to be more for your ambient type melodies and stuff like that. So in this scenario, well, actually for this, because I just want to recreate the exact sound, we're going to look at our sample here. So what I'll do is, so we've got how much time here? If we turn on loop, we can actually and then we can actually give ourselves a little more time, so we can look at we can make this clip longer. Right, okay. So traditionally the way all samples are coming, they're going to be in like a 4-bar, 8-bar loop, and I'll just go in and immediately kind of try that out. So this is how it's funny because I just showed you all these things. There's a couple different ways to warp, and I just started doing this other way. But in this scenario, I'll just show you. You can just click here, and it'll default, and I'm hitting Command Z to go back. But it'll just find the end of the audio sample for you when you hover over there. You double click, it'll create a warp marker, and then you can drag that warp marker to the end of the 4-bar, and look at that. See how every single note is right on the click. Gotta make sure and draw it out. Okay, so now let's look at the other way to warp. So I'm going to just Command Z back. So unwarped. Now we can actually go up here and look at if we're looking at our actual arrangement view up here. What you can do with warp mode turned off now is you can actually just move. What was I doing this before? Oh, right. Okay, so if you're on Complex Pro, then you can just move the actual timing here with the BPM. But the difference really is that you can just like actually look at the actual grid line as you're moving this, so you can zoom in and be like, okay, look, this needs to be, and if you hold Command while moving any of the numerical options, volumes, and stuff like that in Ableton, it'll give you a more gradient, slower. So if I'm not holding Command, it looks like this, but if I am, it looks like that. So Command and move it, and then you can just literally take it right to the notation, right? And you can zoom out, and everything's perfectly in time. Yeah, and you'll find, like, since this is a beat, it's, we could do it with that other option where we just kind of drug it out, assuming it was 4 bars. But if you had like a melody here and you could just see like the different plucks on a keyboard or something, this way of moving it like this can be a lot better to get it synced up with your beat, because then you can kind of literally just move those notes around. Okay, and that's the conclusion of how to warp in Ableton. Please like and subscribe.